That's with global.media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay. We're live. We're still here anyway.
Yes,
To
we are
join
live.
us. Yes.
Sorry, guys, for the a little bit in delay in time. Just some technical glitches behind the scene. But what matters is that we are here today, and we're wishing everyone a happy Friday to you. Wherever you are around the world, we say good morning, good afternoon, good night, or good evening, and welcome to another edition of our Positivity live stream. For us, it's always a privilege to bring the energy, to bring the smile, to bring the joy, and to bring the positivity to you where you are. So we have our community people from all over the world, from the UK, from the US, from Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, just name it. Just name it. We have people in here, and we greet you especially. One also welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, today is another interesting conversation which we are dealing on confident. Confident has been a series we have been on in the month of March. The first series was what confidence is, the importance of confidence, and we spoke about confidence and competence. And today we are talking about the power of self-belief when it comes to confidence. Confident economy, how self-belief can help you build worth. In other words, how you can make money through more money through confidence. How you can get to make more money, how you can get to position yourself because you believe more in yourself. Because this is very, very important. There's a code that says if you believe more, you're going to position yourself more. If you believe bigger, you position yourself bigger. So self-confidence is very important as an entrepreneur or for anyone you want to grow um, financially, economically, in all way around. You want to grow, you want to make more money. Confidence is key. And that's why today we are bringing this conversation today as a constant reminder the need for you to have confidence as an entrepreneur, as someone who is doing business. You want to earn more income, you want to make more impact, you want to have more influence, you want to inspire more people, you want to motivate people. The more you believe in yourself, the more you people.
Mm. We're losing you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that I didn't know if it was my computer, my thing, but it sounds like he's breaking up, right?
Yeah. I don't know whether we lost him completely. It feels like we have. Hello, my beloved Dr. Lisa. How are you doing?
Yes, good to see you, Lisa. Thanks for being here. Happy Friday to you too.
I'm sure there's other people as well. So do say something. Tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us how your day's been. Just say hi. Say something that way we can see you and welcome you. We can see you're here, but we can't see who is who. Well, a woman's joined the stream. Okay, I'll add you to the stream.
On Restream, can you see who's all joined, or can you not do that?
No, we can see the numbers, but we can't see who.
Okay, I see Funme's here. Good to see you,
Yeah,
Funme.
Olafumi is here. I can't see. I can't see him. He was here just now. I can't see him in the studio anymore. So it's cool. So Funmi, I saw you in the studio just now. If you want to come back in the studio and share with us today, we'd love to have your thoughts on our topic. Of course, is breaking. Yes, Niger Internet does great things, right?
Yes, we got our friend in the house, Soulful Squirrel Studios. We know who that is, I believe.
That's Mike. That's Mike with his
Yep.
genius songs. Yeah, it created a song for Mrs. Z for Zion.
Oh, he did.
He did. Yeah. So I'm sure we're gonna hear him more and more.
Yes.
So Mike just creates amazing songs every time. So I've got all day for his creations. So
Yeah.
Mrs. Z, Zion's disappeared. Has Nigeria internet really falling down? Hopefully not completely falling down, right?
Right.
Hopefully it's
Hopefully it's just
it's
internet
just
issue.
yeah, it's just bending. So I never know whether it's me or whether it's the internet really. That's a problem, right? Because I'm on the mobile internet, so my internet can have its funny moments. Not funny, ha, funny, peculiar. That's the way I
Yeah,
describe it, right?
it can do
Yeah.
that. It can do that. But we move on, and when these hiccups happen, we just take it over, and
Yeah,
hopefully,
we
hopefully
do.
Zion will be able to jump back on and be a part of it. But yeah, we're talking about today. We're talking about how self belief builds wealth, right? So we're talking about how confidence can help you earn more income, right? Help you build, how
Yeah.
you help you grow more, right? Which is so important. We know how important confidence is and self confidence is, right? So we're going to talk about how. I'm going to talk about confidence from people who are working in jobs and looking for a job, right? How it helps them get their visibility on the map, how, things like that. We're going to talk about how when you doubt yourself, you're kind of limiting yourself, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
that as well, and we're going to talk about how ways to believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, and put yourself in the best position possible when it comes to earning more, making more, and just growing more, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's start where we normally start, Mr. Jamie. Let's start with telling our friends how you help.
Yeah,
That
let's do
way.
it. We'll definitely start with some introductions. And do we have the link on here to people if people want to join? Is there the link on? Oh, here you go. Zion, are you back, my friend?
Yes, I'm back. I got kicked off again.
You
You
sound
sound
much
better.
better.
Yeah, you
I was gonna
sound a lot better now. There's no more crackling in the headphones, so it sounds really good.
Yes, I think it's just the internet glitches happening this evening. Sorry, guys, I'm back. It
No,
happens. We are live. It's not
course.
edited. It's not an edited stream.
yeah,
We are live.
we're just doing our introductions here. So since you are the host with the most, why don't you go ahead and kick us off and introduce yourself, and then we'll go down the aisle. And we already talked about what we're talking about today, which is self
Yes.
belief and confidence. So yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, King Jamie and Annie, for holding the space down as I got kicked off of the stage. Yes. Welcome again, everyone. Keep dropping your comment. Tell us where you are joining us from all over the world so that we can be able to shout you out and let the world know that you are here with us. For those who don't know me, my name is Zion Inogeru. You're Mr. Positive Energy, a man on a mission to spread positivity to every corners of the earth, 1 million people at a time. For me, I believe so much in the power of positive collaboration and positive partnership because together we can do so much more in making the world a better place. I coach and I mentor people in positivity. So if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, you are into business, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling tired, you're going through a tough time right now in your life, and you need a coach or a mentor to always bring the positivity and show you how you can practically embrace it every day of your life, feel free to reach out to me. And I also help host online events. For anyone out there, you want to amplify your voice, you want to amplify your message, you want to stay visible, you want to reach out to more people with your mission, your vision. Yes, we help you host events that can make that possible. With our community and our large network, we have access to a good number of people on a global scale, and we can help you put you in the front of your target audience by helping you host online event. And one of the amazing things that we are doing right now through online event, from the event that we do with you, we can help you write a book, and then you become a best seller. So if this resonate with you, you want to make more impact, you want to motivate and inspire more people, feel free, reach out to me. Let's go on a journey of positivity together. With that being said, I cannot wait for my co-host to tell the world what they do and how they help people with their business. So let me go to you, King Jimmy, first, then I'll go to Mr. N.
Yes, yes. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. Good to see everybody here. We've already said some shout outs already, but we got a lot of people on YouTube commenting today, which is pretty cool. We got Nikki. Nikki's here. Good to see you, Nikki. It's Nikki Narcisse, or believe that's it. Oh, there we go. See, there's a picture right there. Awesome. We got Aniette. I think I might be saying that right. Mr. Z. Yes, good to see you. Thanks for being here as well. And please keep the comments coming, keep the shout outs coming. Let us know where you are commenting from and where you are joining us, because we know there's people who always come here every week that are from all different parts of the world, right? So we want to hear where you're from. So for those who don't know me, though, I'm in the United States. I am in the Midwest of the United States, right in Illinois, a little bit outside of Chicago. And I am the person that people go to when they need a job, right? There's a lot of people out there right now that are looking for opportunities. And, when somebody needs to get back in the workforce, they reach out to me. I have my own company. I'm a career coach. My company is called Jam Sessions with Jamie. And what I do is I help people with different parts of their job search. So I help people I write people's resumes from scratch. I help people with interview practice. So I help them with preparing for interviews, answering certain questions in the interview process, negotiating salary and getting confidence so they can make the money they want to make, which is what we're talking about today, right? And I help people with LinkedIn optimization too. I help people revamp their LinkedIn profile and make them visible, be able to get that confidence, right? It's kind of stemming on what our topic is today. I've been doing this now for about 3 years on my own. I've worked with many, many different clients, all different aspects of their job search, people who are college students, who are people who've been in the workforce for a while, and also people who are executives and VPs. Worked with a lot of different types of people, different ages, all different places in their career, right? This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I've been doing this before I did career coaching on my own. I worked for some pretty big companies where I did recruiting, and I helped people get promoted, and I hired people, and I interviewed people, and I seen people's resumes. And now I do this on my own, and I get to do this in, the comfort of my own home and be able to work with people one-on-one and get them the confidence they need to get back into the workforce. So if that sounds like you, and you want to, learn more about what I do, check out my website, jamsessionswithjamie.com. Happy to help you out and have a call and meet you and talk about your career path and your aspirations. So that's a little bit about me. Nikki said that I said her name perfectly. Great. I love that. I try to get him right? But that's great. I'm good to hear that. You are in Texas, so I know it's warm weather down by you, which is awesome, down south in Texas. So good to see that. I'm glad you like the name Jam Sessions with Jamie as well. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Ennie so he can introduce himself, and he can also shout out some more people who are sitting here in the comments. And we got the link. Looks like Zion put the link up too. That's the link if you guys want to join the conversation. If you want to be a part of today's conversation and you want to give your thoughts, click on that link. We'll put you backstage and we'll bring you up when it's your turn to speak. And we want to get as much visibility and as much people joining this conversation as possible. So Ennie, over to you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Oluwafumi, I see you. I don't know whether I mentioned you earlier, but welcome. We do see you. So Victor, we see you as well. Thank you for joining us from Delta State in Nigeria. Thank you for being here. And Mike says, I'm learning, even as an empath, I need to look within and build my confidence muscle, regardless of outside influences. Totally agree. Self-belief is everything, right? So this is especially true as I negotiate sales and distribution of my songs. So that's so true, Mike. So true. Look, for those who know me, those who don't know me, I'm Ennie Osung. The general tea maker at global.media, right? They said me to make the tea. If I want tea, I better make it myself, right? And our mission is to make people famous. So we tend to we work with people who've created something and who are ambitious, who want to go far, who want to make and build that wealth. So we'll find ways to get you more visibility, more authority in your field, and also more sales. That's pretty much how I spend my days. Now, sometimes those days are spent doing marketing activities, creating posts, yeah, working on people's newsletters, working on people's content, and creating websites. I don't do that myself. I've got techies who are better than me at that, so they do all that for us. The other times, I help people to write their book, publish their book, sell their book, and I even put them on stages where I pay them to be paid speakers, what we call author speakers. Now, of course, in between all of that, this is a self-belief thing coming out now, right? So every month so far and every month going forward, we're going to do a paid masterclass, a paid event where we want to take people like you to a deeper level of learning. So these events are fun. Of course, they're great. We learn a lot. You get to meet people. You get to be influenced by people. But the truth is, you're never going to find out defined details of how to do anything if you don't sit down with the experts and pick their brains. Like Jamie, Jamie can talk all day about career counseling, for example. But if you're serious about wanting a job, you actually have to sit with him and say, right, Jamie, help me. What am I missing? So the same for me when it comes to the topics we discuss. So we want to transform lives. We want to build legacies. We want to show you exactly the steps to follow. I say all this because our next event is on the 31st of March. That's next Tuesday. No, 2 Tuesdays away, right? So join us. 2 hours. We're going to show you 3 steps to start making $10,000 a month revenue. So my co-host, Christina Segato, I've seen her coach women and how to build a business. And literally, they've gone from not having a business, now from working in a job that they're not happy in, to actually starting a business and getting clients and making real revenue. If that interests you, connect with me. LinkedIn's always better. Of course, I have a website, I have email, but connect with me on LinkedIn and let's have a conversation. Otherwise, just buy a ticket. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Anyway, that's enough for me for now. I love this topic. Building wealth is it's very important. I'll say that for sure. But it's complicated for some people. Not for me. It's not. It's pretty straightforward, right? But I'll share with you what I can.
All right.
See, I
Thank
give
you
the
so
mic to
much.
you, my
Thank you so much, Mr. Annie and King Jimmy. Thank you so much for sharing with us what you do and how you are able to help people. One of the things I love about our community is we are people conscious, we are people centered, and we are all about supporting one another. As much as we are entrepreneurs, as much as we are doing business, in the business, we recognize the power of people and knowing that people truly matters, knowing that it's people before profit. When you love the people, the profit will definitely come. So thank you so much for all you do. Now, guys, you've heard what we do. And if any of it resonate with you, feel free to reach out to us. Do not hesitate. Do not hold back because that's why we are talking about this conversation today. A lot of people hold back. A lot of people are trying to wait for the perfect time. They're trying to wait for the perfect opportunity. And that's why confidence can help you build wealth. And this kind of confidence does not wait for a perfect time, does not wait for a perfect season, does not wait for a perfect moment. Starts now. Starts now. No matter how small it is, no matter how little, no matter how new you are in the journey, starting now is key. Whatever you start now, in the next 5 years, you become a master of it. You become so good at it. I remember starting this journey, especially hosting online events and coming on the online space. I used to be very afraid. I used to be very scared of putting myself out there. But because I never understood the amount of opportunity that awaits me, I was always looking at the limitations. I was always looking at the things I've not been able to do. But then surrounding myself with people like Annie and Jamie and some amazing people in my cycle, it really made me understand that, well, you know what? You might not be all perfect. You might not get it all right. You might not have it all figured out. Start where you are. And I know there are many persons like that who are listening to us. You are starting, you are kicking up. That idea just came up. It's just so new, like a newborn baby. You don't know how to go about it. You don't know what to do. Or maybe you have the idea, you don't have the resources, you don't have the technical know-how, you don't have the visibility, you don't have the people. Find out good. Everyone here, I can tell you, we are once in that same category. But if there's one thing that we've learned on this journey, it's where you are, no matter what you have, you can start. It's never too small, it's never too little not to make an impact. So, building work starts from self confidence. How confident are you in yourself? And how confident are you in that thing that you are doing right now? A lot of people, we have good ideas. We are sound up there, but we are scared to speak up in rooms. We are scared to share our ideas. We are scared to put ourselves out there because why we lack that confidence. And if you don't put yourself out there is no way people will notice you. There is no way people will see you. Even your potential clients who are supposed to pay you good money will not even know that you exist. So building confidence, slow and steady, no matter how small it is, it's very, very important. And for us, this conversation is not about us, it's about you. And that's why the link is in the comment section. Feel free. You want to ask a question, you can use the comment section, or you want to come online to share and talk. Now, one of the reasons we encourage people to come up on stage is this. This event right now is streamed to different platforms, over 6 different platforms. And we have thousands of people who get to watch this stream again and again on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Now, this gives you an opportunity where you can share, people can hear you, people can see you. I remember when I started newly, I found myself in a room, and in that room, I was the only Nigeria in that room. But because I was able to build confidence over time, I only had 2 minutes to introduce myself and share. And because I was both, now I didn't have anything to say in business. All I had to do was to introduce myself. And because I was able to introduce myself, people had to connect with me on LinkedIn. People reach out to me. Hey, we heard you. You said you are from Nigeria. I want to know more about you. I want to know about what you do. Just by a simple introduction. And by a simple introduction, people wanted to partner with me. They want to work with me. I love the way you sound. I love your English. You are very eloquent. I love the way you introduce yourself. And I want to work with people like this. A simple introduction. And a simple introduction started from just having self-confidence to be able to speak up in rooms. Sometimes what you need as a business, what you need as an individual is the confidence to be able to speak up in rooms. And I tell you, you don't know where the opportunities are. You might not know who is listening to you. You might not even know who is waiting to hear your idea, to hear the business pitch, or to hear how you are helping people. And then what you're sharing can just be able to resonate with them. And they will like, oh, I heard Jamie talk about helping job seekers. I think I want to work with Jamie. Oh, I heard Annie talk about writing books. I want to work with Annie. I heard about Zion talking about coaching people in positivity and hosting online event. I want to work with Zion. These are ways opportunity are out there. So being that self-confident to show up, it's key. This conversation is very powerful. Why? Because it's more like my life. It describes how I started from a timid young graduate from the university, and now being able to inspire people from all over the world, my message of positivity. Who could have thought? But that bold step, finding that self-belief, finding that self-confidence has really helped me to be here. And at the end of the day, like we said, we are building in confident. At the end of the day, be able to build worth and income, and also be able to live a better life. Then my mentor will always say, make sure you are involving in IPO. IPA simply means income producing activities. So as you have confidence, the confidence is going to push you to be involved in income producing activities. As you're impacting more people, you get paid by impacting people, you get paid by motivating people, you get paid by just helping people amplify their voices. So worth is not built in silence. By silence, I mean by not doing anything, by just being there, but being able to put yourself out there. And I tell you this, when you are confident to put yourself out there, you are going to attract people, you are going to attract opportunity. I'll say this again. When you are confident and you put yourself out there, you're going to attract people, you're going to attract opportunities. Opportunities that can be able to make you earn income, not just earn income, but to be well paid. To be well paid and to be well valued. Why? Because people get to see you because of the confidence for you to put yourself out there. If there's one thing I've learned about confidence and in respect to building worth and any income, it's when you are confident in yourself, it helps you to place a higher value in yourself. Because there are so many people out there who are doing great things. So many people out there who have value they're creating, but because they lack self-confidence, they don't put much value in themselves. You undervalue yourself because you lack confidence. If there's one thing that confidence has done for me, it really helped me value myself. You are what the amount you say you are what. I will say this again. You are what the amount you say you are what. If you are coaching and you say, you know what, my coaching is $10,000, and you believe it, I tell you, you're going to attract people who can pay you that same amount. It's like magic. I'm glad I met Annie and Eric F. King and a few other persons who we are working with, and also King Jamie, to let us know that reducing your price does not mean more people will patronize you. But the fact that your price is the smallest, oh, it's the lowest, does not mean people will patronize you. In fact, people will patronize more people who have more quality price in the value that they are giving. So if you are giving value, the value is worth to be paid for. But then you must be confident enough in yourself to believe that the value you are giving is worth paying for. As an entrepreneur, so don't shoot yourself in the leg and say, "Oh, am I worth paying this? Is it worth talking about?" Because a lot of people are scared to talk about price. They're scared to talk about, to put an amount to say, "Okay, you have to pay me this for doing this for you." A lot of people are scared. To be honest, I used to be scared before. I used to be in that category where I'm scared. But learning to know that as long as you are giving value, it's worth to be paid for. It's worth the amount you say it is worth. And that's why being self-confident, slow and steady is key. I was sharing at an event I spoke on few days ago. I said, when it comes to talking about pricing, which it's very uncomfortable for a lot of entrepreneurs. People can talk about, oh, I do this, I can do this. But when you talk about pricing, people are really scared to talk about pricing. Because why? They are not confident enough to talk about it. If there's one thing I've done, it's to practice ahead. You don't talk about pricing only when you're talking to a client. I've done the mirror practice where, you know what, I imagine the mirror as my client, and I talk to the mirror like I'm talking to my client. So at the end of the day, when I'm talking to my clients, when it comes to pricing, it's no longer strange in my head. It's no longer, oh, am I really good to talk about this? I talk about this confidently. So building confidence is very, very key and very, very important when it comes to words. Don't be shy. A lot of people are shy to build words. They are shy to talk about pricing. Don't be shy. When you are confident, it helps you overcome the shyness when it comes to price. And I will say this again, you are worth it. You are worth it. And you must learn to believe in yourself. Self-belief is key. is the foundation of more opportunity, is the foundation of more networking, is the foundation of attracting people to yourself, is the foundation of you staying visible so that people can get to see the value that you are bringing in the room. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Let me quickly shout some comment out before we go to our special guest, my co-host, sorry, King Jimmy. Um, yes, for me says transforming lives and building legacy. Yes, people before profit, amazing. Uncle Mike says, I really miss Zion smiling face. Uncle Mike, don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, amazing. Bosco is joining us all the way from Twitch. Yes, we have people from Twitch right now and said, Papa Z, Mr. Positivity, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, my friend. Uncle Mike says, fear is given into the belief you have something of value to offer. You do. You gave a unique gift and actually a responsibility to bring it into the world. Amazing. Yes, we have Linda joining us all the way from Canada. Say hi, everyone. Happy Friday, Linda. Welcome. So good to have you. Yes, Uncle Mike says confidence plus positivity equal influence. The money is secondary. Powerful. Money comes when people understand your value, never price of anything other than your value. Indeed, when you give value, of course, money will flow. Uh, Competing on price can be a risk. That's how we have to focus on creating value. The more you create, the more you impact, more people just flows automatically. Because when people see that you're actually bringing the value to pay you what you are worth, does not it's no longer difficult for them. You know, please guys, feel free. The link is still in the comment section. Let's hear your thought on this and how as confidence help you on your journey, even in earning more income. So in the meantime, I'm going to pass the mic to my amazing co-host King Jimmy. I know he's ready to share with us, and then he passed the mic to Mr. Ennis. So King Jimmy, the mic is yours. Talk to us, share with us on what role has confidence play in your in your life as an entrepreneur, in your business, and how it has really helped you to build worth.
Yeah, great, Zion. Thanks for passing it over to me. And confidence goes a long way, right? In a lot of different ways. And just kind of speaking with my experience, when it comes to confidence and what I do as a career coach, right? When I started with jam sessions with Jamie 3 years ago, right? I was coming into there are a lot of career coaches out there, and I was coming into a field where there's a lot of people who've been doing this for a while. And at first, when I started my business and I came in, I said, you know what? Yeah, the confidence wasn't fully there all the way, right? Because I was just starting. I was getting into it. I wanted to make sure I could differentiate myself from other people who were career coaches. And I started doing I started doing free sessions, free coaching sessions to kind of build myself up, build my name up there, right? And then what happened was, as I started doing these coaching sessions, right, I started getting feedback from people that I was working with, feedback from some job seekers that I worked with. I wanted candid feedback, right? And, a lot of times I got really good feedback. Sometimes some people told me, well, you could try doing this differently as a career coach, doing this. And having that feedback helped me build up more confidence to be able to do different things, to be able to find the things that were working and were not working, right? And I started building up this belief that I can do this more. I can get more, I can get more people into their next opportunity. I can start doing certain things and coaching the way that I want to coach. And as I started growing, and I started getting more clients and more job seekers wanting to work with me, I started building up that confidence more, right? I started believing in what I'm doing is really making a difference and helping people get opportunities. That followed by people that, when I started working, I remember when I first got the first person I worked with, and I got them an opportunity, and they came back to me and they said, Jamie, I've been getting more, I got more interviews instantly after we started working with each other, and you did my resume, and I landed a job within less than 30 days of working with you. And that really boosted my confidence a lot. I started realizing, you know what? I can do this. I can stand out. I can be a big career coach in this field, right? And I could really be working with different types of people. So I continued to learn more. I continued to work. I continued reaching out to some of my peers and asking them what they're doing, how they've been able to monetize their career coaching. I've been doing this for a while. And once again, that confidence kept building and building, right? And what happened was I started getting so busy, now we're talking about 3 years later, right? I've built up a strong name for myself, right? I started, long gone were the days where I was only charging $100 for this or $150 for this, right? I was starting cheap because I was starting to get my feet wet. Now that I've grown so much more and I know that what I do is proven to work, whether it's writing resumes for people, whether it's doing my interview coaching, whether it's helping people optimize their LinkedIn profiles, I've built up that confidence and self-belief in myself to know that what I do is really getting people jobs and getting people hired faster than ever. That in terms has changed my pricing and how I only work with certain types of people, because that is what I've done for myself. I've built up a name for myself. I've built up that belief that I know what I do works, and that has changed in terms of what I can start charging people. Now, I'm still not super expensive compared to what other people might charge, right? I still keep my pricing very fair, but it's come a long way from when I first started. And that's all because of that confidence, all because of that belief in what I feel like I've done so far in the 3 years. And I'm just going to continue to grow, right? Confidence means everything, not only to career coaching, but confidence is a big deal when you're a job seeker. The people I work with, right? You have to have confidence in it. You have to have confidence when you are going into an interview that you are the person for that job, that there's nobody else better than you. You got to have that swagger to yourself and come in with that confidence and be there and say to yourself, you know what, this job is mine to lose. Like, I'm the person they need on their team, right? So, and when you have that confidence and that self-belief to be able to do the job that a company's asking you to do and then some, that's when you can believe in yourself and you can ask for what you want to be paid. Right? If a company gives you a salary and you if they want to hire you and they give you an offer letter and you look at it and you're like, you know what? I know I'm worth more than what they're offering me. You have that confidence to be able to take it back to the table and say, you know what? Based on my experience and the things that I've done in the past, which is X, Y, and Z, I believe that with all that experience, that this is worth what I'm asking to make, which is this, right? And you can ask those things. And what's the worst they can tell you? The worst that they can tell you is, you know what? We can't give you any more pay because this is what we have in our budget. But what's the best case scenario? The best case scenario is they take that back to their benefits team, their HR team, and they say, you know what? We know we want this person on our team. We're going to go ahead and give them what they want. Right? We're going to go ahead and give them what they want because we know that's what they're worth and we believe that they're going to make an impact in our organization. It's so important, right? And, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Olusolu says, excellent strategy to do free to gain more confidence. Nice one, right? Very true. That's what it's about. Did I want to do things for free? No, because I felt like my time was valuable, but I know that to make a name for myself and to have that confidence and to build up recommendations and referrals, I had to start by doing some free work, and I was okay with that, right? They also said too, you've earned the right to charge your worth. Well done. Thank you. Yes, that's what I feel like is important, and I don't, there's people who charge a lot more than me. Ultimately, it's up to the person that's enrolling in your services to say, you know what, you are worth, I know you're worth what I'm going to pay because it's going to benefit me, right? And you got to let those people determine if you're worth their time, money, and effort. Same thing like when you're working for a job, right? Have that confidence to let them make the decision and say, you know what, do we want to pay a little bit more to have Jamie on my team or Zion in my company or any on my team, right? Let them make that determination. And then if they're not willing to budge, you are the person who gets to make that decision then at the end, because they want you on their team, but you don't, you got to do what's best for you. And having that confidence to be able to ask to ask what you want because of your experience speaks volumes. So, and Mike says, you can test the market and build your confidence and establish your value. Very true. Yeah, you can do all those things. It's super important. So, that's really what it comes down to is confidence breeds your self-worth, your values. You are a valuable person, right? You didn't just come this far in your career to only come this far. Don't be afraid to ask what you're worth and let people determine if they want to pay that much, or if they want to, if they want your caliber on their team. So that's kind of what I talk about with confidence. I think it's so important. When you don't have the confidence and you doubt yourself, that's when you start questioning every little move you make. You start fine tuning certain things. You're not sure what you're really doing. And then, it kind of is a trickle down effect, right? Where you just, you might accept less than what you're worth, or maybe you get into an opportunity where it's not a good fit for you, right? Because you weren't sure if another opportunity would be good because you had doubts in your head that you had the skills to do the job. Don't make that determination for yourself. You go in with the confidence, you let them make that determination. So that's my thoughts on the topic here. I think we have Annie here. Annie, are you there? Yes. Wait.
I think before any just jump in, thank you so much, King Jimmy, for the great share. That's a very powerful and very, very relatable. For me, I just wanted to watch something to read that really helped me. And as we're talking, it's really just triggered me. It's for people who are starting, who are just kicking off. Maybe nobody knows you, nobody have seen you. There is need for you to have social proof. That's what we call social proof. Do things. There are times I volunteer to host event for people. When I was kicking off, I volunteered. Okay, let me host event for you. People got to see me hosting events. Holding spaces, creating value, and making more impact. And then it really established the credibility and the competence to say, "Oh, he can." I've seen him host events several times. I've seen him done this several times. So when they are coming to meet you for your value, it becomes much more easier. So when you are working and trying to create awareness, create visibility, sometimes you can do it free of charge, or you can learn to volunteer. Volunteering is key. It helps you to practice more on a practically, like you practically practice these things on live, not behind the scene. People get to see you work first hand and see that you are really good at what you do. And I tell you, a whole lot can happen, and a whole lot of opportunities can be bettered by being visible and being confident. So thank you so much, King Jim. I wanted to chip that in. I'll pass the mic to Mr. Enina so he can share with us, because I know he has the vast knowledge concerning this conversation, and I'm ready to learn from him as well.
Yeah, you're far too kind. You say, of course, you to make important points, and I see Mike says pro bono. In other words, giving your service for free, giving your service to those who need it without charging them, can test the market, build your confidence, and establish your value. I love the and in between. So I think there's a benefit to offering to help people who need your service. I could argue with everyone here about free, but let me address the topic first of all. I think Mrs. Z said something very important right at the beginning. This conversation is about money. So a lot of people are scared. They're scared to think about money. They're scared to think about wealth. So money is not wealth. No one here is going to say to you, start a business or run your business and focus on making money. Yeah, what I think what we all agree on is that when you serve people, they will pay you. So the conversation about building wealth is really a question of how many people do you want to serve? What impact do you want to have on their lives? See, when you serve people and you transform lives, the money will follow. The money will come. It's that's almost the same as a day follows a night. You're almost guaranteed to build wealth if you serve people. So focus on that. Don't be scared to say money is important. Worth is very important. Now, it's very important, especially to your family, for whom we do most of what we do for. Like Jamie's got a kid, Jamie's, he's got a wife, he's got a family. We are here. So our advice as Mrs. Zero, I'm saying we're here to give them a good life, to build a legacy. Wealth is real money in a way that you never have to worry about money again. I'm willing to almost prod people, as any does, right, into thinking and asking yourself, how much money is worth to me? Now, I had a meeting with someone earlier today. I'll leave that question with you for a second. But I had a meeting with someone today, and amazing human she is. She really is. Now, she's a doctor. She's got a PhD. She does amazing things. Now she's making movies. Yeah. Yet her idea of wealth is happiness, freedom, not having to go to a job from 9 to 5. I get that. I get that. I can see how. But even she agreed. Her simple model in life is go big or go home. In other words, don't settle for making $100. That's not a goal that's going to keep you excited. It's not going to change your life. It might pay a bill or two, but go big. For me, the answer to the question I asked you, how much is wealth to you? To me, it's £10 million in the bank. It's a £1 million a year revenue business that will get me there. I'm saying don't be scared to want to build wealth, to want to build financial freedom. Money is not evil. Don't believe it is. Don't have them tell you otherwise. You want to make money. It's not about the money. It is those who will do anything for money. They're the evil ones. It's those who will sell their granny for £1, for $1. They're the evil ones, right? We're not those people, right? Our wealth has to be built on serving people. I can't say that enough. If you focus on serving people, transforming lives, then you can build real wealth. I'm thinking London, a place like London, a place like even New York, right? Do you know only a handful of people own most of those buildings? In London, I'm sure in New York as well, in the US, the Rockefellers own most things. Now they want to. Now the Rockefeller that started the whole family dynasty. He died years ago, but he built enough wealth for his family to never have to worry. His great 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 grandkids, they never have to worry about money. They can pursue their dreams. They can truly live a happy life, doing great things. That's what wealth can do for you. Look, I will say to people, if you want to build wealth, if you want to build a real business, number one, Set a goal. We set goals for everything in life, but we don't set goals for how much money. It goes for how much money we actually are willing to work for. You know, again, what is your money goal? What does the wealth look like to you? You know, set a number, set a date when you want to earn it by. The chances are you're not gonna. I'm not gonna make £10 million a year in this year, right? Just like that. But what we do want to set a goal is that we'll build towards it. Every day you work towards it. Every day you get to do something amazing, which is also part of self-belief and also part of building wealth. That thing is simply I think you got two main choices in my books, right? The way I look at building wealth. Either you're gonna do something great, create a solution that people need, something that no one's ever done before. And that will get you wealth. Think of the things that you buy, solutions that you need that someone's created, right? The other way, because we can't all create amazing, unique solutions, is simply to do what you do in a great way. Those people who can do the small things in a great way, they make untold money too. They build wealth. And if you can do anything in a great way, then people will pay you often more than you expect, right? Yeah, okay, right. So if you do something in a great way, you have to get yourself out there. Imagine creating a solution that the world needs, something genius, but no one knows that you created that genius. What a waste. What are you gonna say to your God, when your time is up on this earth? What do you say? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you gave me a gift. I created that thing, and I was too nervous. I lacked the confidence to show up and give it to the world. Don't be that person, right? Let's talk a bit now. So let me talk a bit about self-belief. So everything I've said so far requires you to believe that you can. I remind you of that saying: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. That's the power of self-belief. If you think you can and you're willing to do the work to make it happen, you probably get there. But if you think you can't, you're not willing to actually do the work it takes, then no, you won't achieve it. It's not going to happen. With confidence in yourself, you've won the race of life already. Now, what does it take to have confidence in yourself? To believe that you can? Number one, you have to truly trust yourself. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm confident. I feel confident. So I'm going to do great things." You have to truly trust yourself to create that solution, do that thing to serve the world. You have to truly believe in your soul that you're gifted, that you have the tools, the skills, the competence I will talk about in our last event to actually make it happen. You must build that confidence by doing. Confidence that's just in your words, almost it's halfway there. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. It matters, right? But the biggest confidence you can get is by doing. Sometimes it's by doing this thing, whatever the thing is that you have to do in front of you. I think there's a greater level of self-confidence that many people ignore at their peril, right? And that's the story you tell yourself. See, those who have self-belief, those who have the confidence to do what it takes to build wealth, to create a solution, those people invariably look like the ones who say, I do what I say I'm going to do. Again, back to self-belief. If you are a person who has big ideas, great solutions, then you say to yourself, oh, I can't really do it. I never do what I say I'll do. I let myself down every time. I don't have the confidence to actually do what I must do. If that's you, I would work on changing your story to yourself. It's very hard to have real confidence if you're saying to yourself, "Oh, whenever I think something, I never do it. I just talk about it, and then a year later, nothing's changed." Be the one that does. Be the one that believes in yourself enough to try new things, to build new things, to create new things, to fail, to take risks. Having self-belief does not mean that you have to win 100% of the time. Well, you're going to win anyway, 100% of the time. It doesn't mean you have to succeed every time the way that you think. It just means that, with the confidence you have, it means you can begin. It means you can begin to learn to do the right things. If that's learning who you hang around with, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, how you invest. And that's all part of self-belief, right? And self-confidence. And all of us eventually must take that risk. We must jump off the cliff, proverbially, when we have an idea. Do we know it's going to work? Of course we don't. But we know and believe enough that if we do the right things, it can work. And those who do the right things end up being successful. But without that confidence to go for it, to start today, to start now, do you really have self-confidence? Do you really have self-belief? I wonder. Anyway, I think, I can leave it there for now because this topic is a deep topic, right? We have to be honest with ourselves. Do I believe I can? Do I really want to do it? Have I done it before? What are my stories I'm telling myself in my head? Are there fears holding me back? Yeah. It's a part of the conversation, my friends. Jamie, are you still there? I see you're still there. Excellent.
I am here. Yes, I am here.
So I see Mike's comment. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yes, Mike. It's the love of money. Like I say, the person who will sell their kid for money, who will sell their kid for gold, coin, call it what you like, right? That's the love of money. That's where money becomes evil. The ones who will destroy their colleagues to get a bonus, for example. I'm saying that's the love of money, right?
Right.
But having financial freedom is not a problem. You can save the world with financial. If you have financial freedom, if you have real wealth, you can do amazing. You can feed the poor. You can buy. You get water for all those who don't have water. I'm thinking of some of the campaigns I see on my TV. You can give to charity. You can be. Yeah. Anyway, there's no harm in having money. I assure you. Only good things can happen. No, only good things can happen when you have real wealth. But let's learn to aim for real wealth rather than just making money. That's the point, right, Mike? So using money as a mechanism to uplift others not only pays emotionally, spiritually, and basically you get all the benefits in life, the dividends, as Mike puts it, come and just joy, joy to vive, right? Joy of life. It comes from building success, and with success comes wealth. Okay. I don't know who LinkedIn user is. I can see you're here, but I really can't. I can't see your name. Can you see the name, Jamie? I don't know.
No, I can't see it on my end, but LinkedIn user, if you want to give your name, that'd be great. I see Victor just put a comment up here though, saying that
Yeah. I'll put this comment up.
yeah, there we go. So he says he's a developer working on exceptional ideas that I genuinely believe in. As I try to connect with people for collaboration and testing, I often face rejection or silence, which is undeniably discouraging and affects my momentum. As a young entrepreneur, how do I build the kind of confidence and resilience needed to keep showing up and moving forward despite that? How do I stay mentally strong enough to keep pushing, especially without losing momentum? There are a lot of things to be done. That's a good it's really some food for thought right there, right? So we got someone who's a developer, they've obviously, you've Victor, you obviously got some great ideas. The first step to that obviously is that you believe in those ideas, right? So you're already there, right? When it comes to the belief and the confidence that you have, right? The problem is, you're right. Your ideas might not reflect what other people might think are good ideas, or maybe they're not interested in those ideas, right? But that doesn't mean to give up on what you're believing. And all it takes is one person or two people or somebody to say, you know what, finally take it seriously and listen in, right? Hone in and listen to a little bit of your ideas, right? It's unfortunately, and I think about some of the people, the big names out there, like, you got your Bill Gates, your Elon Musks, right? Your Mark Zuckerbergs, right? Those big name people. They all had ideas probably a long time ago. And when they brought their ideas to people might've laughed at them, right? And said, oh, this is never going to work, or this is not something that's going to take off, or electric vehicles. What are you talking about? And there's no way we're going to continue to use gas vehicles, right? And those people kept on refining their ideas, kept on believing in themselves, right? And all it takes is investors, or you're talking about you're talking about how you face rejection or silence, right? And I don't know who's rejecting or silencing you, but sometimes I would encourage you to look for opportunities in your area where maybe other entrepreneurs get together, or developers, and where you maybe you can present some of your ideas. These are things that need to be where you need someone to invest in those ideas to help your ideas take off. Maybe you can get in front of investors or people who can, those decision makers, right? But don't worry so much about those who do not listen to your ideas, because there's people out there who maybe wish that they might wish that they had those ideas first before you, right? I mean, Annie, is there anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, no, I love the way you've approached it, Jamie. Look, it's easy. The fact that we believe and we create does not mean the world's gonna rush to us to buy it. Years ago there was a saying: if you build it, they will come. The internet changed all that. The internet made us realize you can build it and they won't come. Even if they do come, they walk straight past it, right? I think the thing is, stay strong in your belief. If your solution is truly what mankind needs, what the world needs, they will come. You have to believe that they will see it eventually. The question I would ask Jamie, how are you marketing your creation, Victor? Jamie, you talked about pro bono earlier, giving people a chance to try your products and service, right?
Yep.
They get people to try your product, your software. I imagine, Victor, right? Get them to try it, the more people try it, the more they will see that this is a solution to their problem. So again, I probably there's so many different ways, right? It's the person I was talking to earlier, who said I mentioned the one who wants happiness over money. She has big goals, right? To create feature films, but the way she's doing it, which might help you, Victor, is that she's involving people in the process. Through crowdfunding, for example. Let's say that gets a lot of people to know the idea, to know about the idea. At least it exists, right? She's also, of course, now to create feature films, you need everyone. You need actors, you need production people, you need all sorts of crazy people in the film world, right? I'm saying all those people, all of that is giving her numbers of people who know about the idea. They might start using using the idea and referring their friends to the idea. And so, Victor, there's many ways you can get your idea out without necessarily, maybe even charging up front. But I would say this, my friends: free is not going to save you. If there's one thing I'll say, Jamie, is that even when you started off free, giving your service for free, it wasn't forever. It was time limited, and it was always an idea that you're going to build on the free. If you come, if you come to me for free, I'll do one show with you because I know you're going to want to pay for the other ones after that. So have a way to convert free into premium. Don't. If you just keep doing free, you're not going to survive for long in business. Sorry, you're going to go broke. And and there's always that problem, which is that if you give people everything for free, they will never want to pay you. They'll be like, no, I want it free. I'm used to it free. Why should I pay? I wish I had the confidence on day one, Jamie, to say, right, let me create a premium service. That's what I didn't do. I didn't create a premium service because I was willing to learn along the way, right? Which meant I couldn't charge them correctly. And then, so I couldn't build wealth initially. Today, like you say, Jamie, we know what we do. We've done it so many times that we know exactly how we help. And if you want that help, you're gonna have to pay us what we're worth, right? Even then, we're still on the charge, Jamie. There's people charging double what we charge, by 10 times what we charge for the same service, if not less. So this is all about self-belief, but self-belief must be combined with action. In business, you must combine it with branding. You must combine it with process. You must combine it with systems and deliver. If you got that, then your self belief will go through the roof, and your customers, your clients, the people you serve, self belief, belief in you will go through the roof as well. It's it's a complicated question. So of course, I would say positivity is what you need to start off with. Self-belief comes down to having positivity in your soul. If you have 1% of fear, you're crippled. I'll say that. That's the truth of life, right? Now, Victor, look, connect with us, and connect with me, connect with Jamie, connect with Mr. Z, right? Have a conversation because there are ways that you can move forward for sure. And you never know. Connect with people in the room. You never know who knows who. Someone might know someone who can help move your idea forward, right? So don't just dwell on your idea and it's not working. Be proactive. I will say to myself, look, in this world, think of what our parents went through, our grandparents went through, Jamie. They got stories.
Right.
And I said, no, the man will tell you how they used to walk to school barefooted. Like they used to walk for hours to school and back, right, every day. If you talk to them enough, you find out everything they did was a struggle. It's not, no, and my point is this: I think if it was that easy, everyone would do it. So expect to have a struggle. Expect to have a test. That way you can have a testament. That's something I learned from Mr. Z, right? Expect to have a struggle with what you want to do. If it's so easy, everyone's going to be doing it too. So, and that's not happening, right? So it's not easy. But now, what's the test that your God's giving you, that the universe is giving you, to overcome on your journey? Find that test and overcome. Deal with that test, and then you'll be a happier person, right? So Linda says, "Well said, Jamie. Be your biggest cheerleader." I swear, that is so true, right? You must.
Yep, that's the confidence in believing in yourself, right? You cheer yourself on. That's what's important. If you can't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? I mean, you got to believe in yourself.
Of course you do. I think you really do, Jamie. A lot of people miss the process. The belief in yourself thing. I'm saying, a lot of people think we just turned up yesterday, started the show. Here we are. Same as that for all of us. For you, Victor, for Linda, for everyone who's here, right? The reality is that success, wealth, comes from doing what you do for a very long time. Year after year, day after day, month after month, week after week, right? But you did it for a long, long time. Then suddenly everyone goes, "Oh, we see you, Jamie. Yay!" You're like, "Yeah, thanks. I've been doing this for the last 10 years. Where were you? But it doesn't matter. You're here now. We're both here. Let's get on with it, right? So this doctor I was talking to earlier, she's been doing what she's doing for the last 25 years. And she's still carrying on. I'm saying, one day when she suddenly makes one of these films, everyone will go, "Oh, look at that! Overnight success. She turned out of nowhere." And you're like, "No, I've been doing this for years." It's how life really is, right? Victor, I say, this is powerful. I haven't thought of it that way. Look, connect with people. Part of self-belief is connecting with people. Connect, having those conversations. You never know where they might lead. If you're not talking to anyone, if you're not learning anything, if you're not getting out there, nothing's going to happen. Yeah. Anyway, Jamie, I suppose here's a question for you. How do you build your self-confidence?
Just in general, how do I build my self-confidence?
Yes. Does it ever waver?
Yeah, I think, for me to build my self-confidence is just, when I wake up every morning, right, and I get to work and I do my things, I tell myself consistently, right, that I'm going to get this many people's, jobs. I'm going to have this many amount of calls, discovery calls with people that I think back to the people I'm working with and I say, you know what, today's a day we're going to help this person get to the next level, right? And I'm going to do it by doing this. So, I consider it, I tell myself these things all the time, right? I speak these things into existence, which helps me, right, get the confidence that I need to work with the people that I work with and be able to get them to the next level in their careers, So I think speaking the things into existence and writing the things down that you believe in yourself. And it goes back to documenting things as well, and just telling yourself over and over again that, I think I can, right? It's like the story we know, right? Where the train saying, I think I can.
Yeah.
That's what we do, the little train that could, the little engine that could, So I think that's the important thing is you got to believe it. You got to speak it to existence and you can't let anyone tell you otherwise. Right. Yeah. And that's what I tell people that are getting into, that are getting into opportunities and they're getting rejections. I'm like, look, it doesn't mean that you don't have the skill. You don't have the skills to do the job. It just means they wanted to go another direction. Don't put yourself down and beat yourself up because a company chose one person besides you. You can't win them all. Like you can only choose one person for the job. Just because that one didn't work out for you, there's plenty of other opportunities that will work out for you. And all you need is that one yes and that one person to believe in yourself and see the confidence that you bring. And that confidence is gonna go off on them, and they're gonna see it, and they're gonna want to bring you with them. So
Yeah.
you know,
I like that. I mean, you said no, you have to be intentional.
yes,
You have to be very clear what you want to do and how you want to do it, right? And I think that's at the heart of this, right? And like I think you're saying what I said earlier, which is the road to success is not a straight line of up and up and up and up. The road to success is filled with up, down. That graph. The real graph of success. It's not a straight line. Oh, 0 to 100. It's more up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's life. That's the journey of life, right? Everyone who's ever been successful, who's built wealth, has had to go through that journey. And also, I would say, Jamie, see, the reality is that many people who build wealth lose money. Yay. Face that, right? They really do, right? And I think one of the lessons I learned, along the way to being where I am today is simply that you can lose it all tomorrow. When you have no wealth, you don't worry about what you don't have, right? But when you start being successful, then you worry about money more because suddenly you're thinking, if I lose it all tomorrow, I'm going to be back to square one. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What you do is just build it up again. See, that's what the successful people do, right? Some become bankrupt, but you don't dwell on that. What you do is you use what you've learned along the way, that self-belief, that self-confidence, to create another solution and go again. Never be scared of losing it all because you can build up twice as quick, right?
true.
Right. So there are a few ideas, right? I say OBS says the idea that confidence without self-belief is exhausting. I felt that. Yeah. Can you be confident without self-belief? Yeah. I suppose you can. There's also strange people out there, right? You can be able to do and still be racked with anxiety and fear. That is exhausting. But so Jamie, I'm going to say to everyone, build your self-confidence. Just walk. Mr. Z mentioned walking with a swagger. I know that's going to upset Mr. Mike in the comments. But no, truly believe in yourself. And just what's the worst that can happen if you believe in yourself? Work on that belief. But that's why the only way to work on that belief really is by doing. Do what you say you're gonna do. Do what you do with intention, and then you don't say to yourself, "I'm the one that always lets myself down. I don't try hard enough." Change all that to I give my best every time, and you soon find you say to yourself, "When I give my best, when I truly act on what my gifts are, I change the world." Imagine having that story as your backstory. And say that's how we change the world. That's how we build wealth. Keep doing that over time. People just keep paying you more and more, right? It's all of that. And there are a couple more good comments here, Jamie. Right. So just how you doing, Dr. Josette? All right. Says, oh my goodness, joining at the end. Yeah, we're going towards the end. But there's still another few minutes, right? Juggling meetings today. Yes, confidence. And I'd say this lady has the confidence of the world. She really has. Connect to Dr. Josette. I can see her saying, "Don't call me Doctor." Well, she's a doctor, so us Nigerians, we can't help ourselves. If you're a doctor, you're a doctor, right? I'm gonna call you a doctor every time until until we can't call you a doctor anymore, which is never, right? No, she is amazing. So do connect with her for sure. She does talk about delusion of faith. Yeah, delusion of faith is my heartbeat. That's what I was just saying, Jamie. We need to truly believe in ourselves so much that we're almost crazy. Even when everything else around us tells or suggests to us that we may not be that person, we just have to believe I am that person. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes. That's true. That's true self-belief. The delusion of faith, trust in yourself to do great things and to do things in a great way. Take your pick, right? But don't let past failures dictate your future. I think that's what I take from that, Dr. Josette. It is, yes, our past can teach us lessons, but truly go forward with the belief that now you're wiser, you're more aware. You're not the person you were yesterday. You're not the person you were and 2 hours ago before the show started, right? Now you know how important believing in yourself is. You can flip the script, literally. If you do that or don't do that, it's up to you. When you do that, it's up to you. you know, that's what self-belief really is. You can do anything, right? Anything at all. Jamie, I'll give you this one if you don't mind.
Let's see. The comment right here saying,
Yeah. To my comments, I'm gonna add a twist. I build my
build
confidence.
my confidence by gauging my value by my haters and doubters. Bring it on. I like that. That's, you're right. Everything we do is, there's going to be times where there's going to be people who doubt us, and who it's they're doubting us because they're jealous and they wish that they would have done it first, or a hater who, there's all sorts of people, right, that do that kind of stuff because maybe they lack self-confidence, right, and they don't have confidence. So the only way to try to talk up their confidence is to bring other people down. You see that all the time.
Yeah,
And it's on social media a lot, and things like that. So, you know, but I like that, Mike, that it builds your confidence because, I always say, when you got haters, you're doing something right. That's so true. If somebody hating on Any for what he does, for helping people get famous and writing books, and they just wish they would have maybe done it first. And, he's just going to keep doing what he's doing and doing what works, and block out the people who are trying to get in his head, and just realize that, hey, I got doubters and I got haters. I must be doing something right, and I'm just going to keep doing it, and I'm just going to pay no attention to that and let them keep doing that, because what they're doing is not helping them at all. It's making them look bad, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So
yeah. It's so true, Jamie. It is. I say focus on you, right? Focus on yourself. Yes, what others say can be good feedback sometimes, but don't let that be how you judge yourself. Again, going back to your point, Jamie, earlier about being your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest supporter. You have to be the one who truly loves you so much, who thinks you're great at all times. Don't let the haters or the doubters put you off. They're there to try and get in your way. Don't let them, right? And as Mike says, yes, it put me back on my heels momentarily, but after I plowed through the hate and doubt, I come back stronger. This is part of the journey, Mike, right? So if only everyone jumped on you and said how amazing you are from day one. Think of all the great things in our world, from the light bulb to the telephone to the internet. People said, no, this is not going to work. Now AI, for example, everyone's like, no, it's not going to work. It's evil. Even cars. I'm saying, all the great things around you, just look around you. Everything around you, someone said, no, don't do that. No, we don't need it. It's not going to help us. Now, look where we are. I'm saying your solution could be that solution too. Why not? So I mentioned Dr. Josette's films suddenly being number one, and the film, one of the greatest films in our lifetime. Why not? She believes she can create it, or she's gonna create it because she said so. What are you gonna create that only you can see in your mind's eye before you create it? Uh, I think if we have the confidence, Jamie, to create genius, we'd all be so much happier, and so much more wealthy. So much wealthier. That's a better adjective to use. So Victor says, right. Thank you very much, Uncle Jamie and Uncle Annie. That's me, right? I noted down several things. I will dive deep. I'll dive deeper into them as advised. This meeting is a very powerful opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for attention to my matter. No, but more than a pleasure, right, Jamie? I wish Mr. Z was here to add to the conversation. I wish more of you, would come on stage and add your thoughts because again, back to our self-confidence issue, right, Jamie? You're here. You're here. Everyone's. You're here. And I always say in these events, there's different levels of benefit for that you can get out of being here, right? Some people are here. They haven't said a word in the comments. We don't even know they're here. We know they're here because they're numbers, right? We don't know. I can't tell you who they are. You're never going to know who they are because they're just here. Yeah, it's great to be here to learn like that. There's you in the comments who actually said something. Now people can see your name. They can see some of your thoughts. They're more likely to remember you because you actually said something, right? Now the third level is always join the studio, share your thoughts. They can see you, they can hear you. Now they really know you. Now you're away. That's why these events are transformative, really. So we're almost done, Jamie. So what does OBS say from a hiring perspective? Yeah, I love this question. Go, Jamie. How does a candidate's self-presentation actually influence decisions beyond their resume? Ooh.
That's a good, really good question. Like, your resume is on paper, right? It speaks to the skills you have on paper. But once you get that interview and you're going up against other people, right? They might all have the same skills as you have, maybe more, maybe less. But if that person has more skills than you and they interview really poorly and they don't really speak to the skills they have and show the confidence that they have, and then you come along and you carry yourself highly, you're sitting up straight, you talk and enunciate your words, and you feel, and you're breathing that self-confidence, and that presentation is on point. Even if you don't have the full amount of skills they're looking for, you got the interview. If you show that confidence of what you can do and that you're willing to learn and you want to grow and you're a sponge and you want to take in as much information as possible and you want to grow with it and run with it, that is more appealing to a company looking to hire somebody on their team than somebody who maybe has 100% of the skills they're looking for, but is just kind of reserved to themselves and not really speaking to how they have those skills. So presentation is everything. When you get on that, the resume is just kind of showcasing your ability to do the job and on paper what you've done. The interview is putting you on stage and making you get the best presentation and showing the confidence you have to influence those people, those decision makers who are going to make that decision of who they want to bring on their team. And I've seen people get jobs where they weren't the most talented in the pool and they weren't the most skillful, but they got the job because the decision makers liked their confidence and they liked the fact that they were willing to learn as much as possible. And they felt like they could mold those people into model employees that they want them to be. So that presentation is big. It really does influence a lot of key factors and a lot of decisions.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Jamie, there is the flip side, right? Here's how I want to try and explain it now, because it's affected me since where am I now? The last 35 years, probably, right? So I was Yeah, I was a gifted kid, traumatized but gifted, right? Put it that way. And one of my privileges as a gifted kid in the situation I was to be part of policy decision making bodies for children, right? So now the simple way to say is that I was on interview panels to recruit people for projects to work with kids like me, right? So so I remember one of the biggest projects we had. There was £250,000 a year funding to run the project, right? It was to create an all-round resource for kids, advocacy services, advice services, and also resources like more than a library, but therapists and so on and so forth, right? So I remember on the interview, on the day of the interview panel. So I think the interviewees came in. Joseph, I'll bring you in, Joseph, in a second, right? And so they all came in, Jamie, and this man came in shorts. His name was Gary, I still remember, right? And I was like, everyone else was suited and booted as they would do, right? But he came in. It wasn't like a hot day. So I made a beeline for him, and I was like, Gary, how do you get away with coming in shorts? Do you know what, Jamie? He got the job, and he said, "I'm so good. It doesn't matter what I wear." I know what you said. I know you said presentation matters. Of course, it matters in context. But you can
Right.
imagine now coming in shorts might work because it's working with kids. It's an informal. Would you employ someone to work with kids who comes in a suit? So you have to know the context, is what I'm saying, right? But I think there's also this thing, this self confidence thing that he had about him, that he knows his stuff. He's good at the job. He knows his stuff, and he's not so. What's the word I'm looking for? He's not so. He's not dressed to be so out of place to offend anyone. Yeah, and that's a self confidence thing. When I say it's affected me, frankly, I don't pay much attention to what people say I look like or how I look. No, you've all seen me. If you look at my profile, I'll wear a yellow suit if I had to, if I wanted to. I wear a pink suit. I wear my pink suit very regularly, right? I wear different color suits because I've got the blue and black ones. I don't want to wear them. They're boring. I want to wear. I'm me. Do I like it? So, tough. Yeah, let me not swear, Jamie. If you don't like it, you go somewhere else. It's fine. But I think you have to have that confidence about how you present. As long as you know you're presenting as you, the real you, and in a way that almost says to the world, "Take me as I am." If you don't, I can't help you. What's your idea of that, my friend?
No, I agree with that. I mean, just on the flip side, you're right. I mean, presentation is a broad term, right? It's a broad term, and but it means a lot of different things, right? I like what you brought about. I like how you said the person wasn't dressed apart, but they still knew that they were the person, right? So like, you don't need to. Yeah, I mean, presentation is a big deal, but presentation can mean a lot of different things, right? But
Yeah,
what it comes
for sure.
down to in the end, is believing in yourself and just knowing that you don't need to look the way somebody wants you to be or be the way somebody wants you to be. You need to have the faith in yourself and believe that you're good enough for no matter what somebody wants, that you're good enough. If they don't see that, if they don't see
Yeah.
that, then that's on them, right? They're going to miss out on somebody who's got the confidence like you do and the wherewithal to be able to do the job. And that's their loss, not yours.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So let's do a couple more comments and then we can call it a day, right? We just gone past our mark as we always do. Dr. Josette says the pursuit of happiness has a scene of that highlights that, right? It's true. As I said, I mentioned your concept of wealth being pure happiness, and it's not all, it's and extreme wealth. That's what Josette's going for. Yeah. So we agreed. Either you go big or you go home. Literally, but don't aim for the middle. Don't aim for okay. Aim for life changing
Right.
wealth, financial freedom on a big scale that can change the world. And so then you must have happiness to go with it, right? You're not what you wear, but you're so much more. Of course, we are, right? Your energy will speak over the clothing. It's true. It's true. I think I guess I'm imagining there's that context bit that we have to take into account, right? Like I say, I'll show up, on LinkedIn as me. Someone doesn't like it, well, But I'm not gonna be outlandish enough to come in. What am I thinking of? Mankini. Yeah, lose friends, lose everything.
True.
There's a context, and you have to consider for sure, right?
Yep.
So Dr. Josette says, Jamie, clothing can mask and perform, but energy is loud and aligned. God, energy will always speak louder, right?
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
It's all about that
Again,
energy. Bring that energy, and if you bring that energy and show and bring that confidence, like I said, it will speak louder. Clothing is not a big deal, right? That's yeah. Anyone can hide behind a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? It's about the energy you bring. Speak up, be yourself, and show the confidence.
well said, my friend. Well said. Now, and all of that comes down to self belief.
Yep.
If you don't believe in yourself, then your energy will reflect that. Your fear, your anxieties, you know, your all these things that you don't want to be will come out, right?
Right.
You know, so, apparently this is Will Smith saying the pursuit of happiness is a movie with Will Smith. Okay, you
Yep.
know what? Yeah, don't hate me, Dr. Josette. I'll leave our friends with this, right? Don't hate me. I don't watch films. I watch TV, of course I do, but I don't really watch TV in that way. I don't watch films. I don't watch programs like that, right? I watch sports. I watch documentaries. I don't watch dramas. I can't stand any of that stuff. I fall asleep. That's my problem. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for sure. Thank you, Annie, for the motivation. Oh, you're gonna make me blush. I'm gonna go pink, right? No, more than the joy. Jamie, please, give us, your last take on our topic today. Something that our friends can go away with and work on, remember, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about confidence today, right? I mean, so many people had some great comments to add to the conversation. But I think that ultimately, what it comes to is believing in what you're doing, and believing that you can do anything, and believing that no idea and no dream that you have is far fetched, right? We all have to start somewhere, but you have to have the confidence in yourself and the ability, to be able to take that next level, right? If you don't think you can do it, then you're just hindering yourself, and you're just the only person that's blocking yourself is you. Don't listen to everybody else out there and everyone who's going to tell you things and give you different perspectives on things and say, well, I don't think you can do this because of this and that. That's fine. Let them talk. You got to get into your head that you can do this, and that once you do this, then you're going to find people are going to come back to you and they're going to congratulate you, and they're going to, they're going to say this and that, and they're going to be like, oh, you did it. I knew you could. Like, maybe they didn't before, and they're just now saying that they knew you could do it, right? Everyone's going to say things. It's all about what's in here, and just blocking out the haters and the doubters and the people who don't think you can do it, and just having the confidence to be able to do what you can.
Yeah, I love that, Jamie. It's very easy to believe those people are successful. Those people are the ones who do great things. No, we're the ones who do great things.
Right.
Yeah, but you have to believe that you are one of those people who does great things. If you don't believe that, then it's not impossible, but it's going to be very hard.
Very
You know,
true.
so just say that get delusional in Dr. Josette's words. Get delusional. Believe in yourself so much the world will be scared.
Yep.
Really. The world will be scared about how great you can truly be, and then take the action. So you must take. To achieve what you want to achieve. don't think of the money. Think of serving people. How can you truly transform people's lives and solve their pain? That's what this is all about, really. And believe you have the solution that can truly solve their pain. If you do, let them know it, please. Don't keep it to yourself. Create it and then market it, share it, distribute it, call it what you like. It's in marketing by any other word, I say, but like get it out there so people actually know that you exist and that you have the answer. I've still got a friend in Dr. Josette, so I'll take that. I said no problem. Look, my friends, I say thank you so much for joining us. So connect with Mrs. Z if you struggle with self confidence, self belief, the topics I would discuss and that, but all around positivity. Like I said earlier, we can talk about topics till the cows come home, right? But I know that the real issue is people applying what has to be applied to live a life of true positivity. So Jamie and I can, we can support you on the journey. But Mr. Z, he's a positivity coach amongst us. Do talk now, connect to him, do talk to him, and find out how you can bring all these things together to make your life and your business much better and serve more people and build wealth. Yay. Look, we're back here again next Friday, so do join us again. Of course, we'll send the invite links as we always do. Mrs. If Mrs. Z was here, Mike, I would have played your song, but it's not here, so I'm gonna have to set to playing it next Friday. So next Friday, same time, same place, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend, full of rest, play, and whatever all the things that that excites you, right? Take care, everyone. Jamie, great as always. Thank you so much for being a superstar.
Yes, no, thank you. Any great call today. Wish Zion could have been here, obviously, but I know the internet was not working out today for him, and that happens sometimes. So, next week is our gratitude call. So, looking forward to seeing everybody next week, and it should be a great call. So, everyone enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome, Jamie. Take care. Take care,
All right.
everyone.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Every single is a new beat to your drama. She's successful. Google.media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's successful. Google.media.